So guys, what is it? What is it that audiophiles want? I wish I knew. It's my job to figure this out, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, and it's still a work in progress. Now, of course, yeah, okay, we want good sound. But there's not a lot of consensus as to what sound sounds like. Now, sure, you can say it should have flat frequency response, wide dynamic range, great sound stage, etc., great mid-range, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's the easy answer. But then when you get into the weeds with it, that's where it gets complicated. Because first of all, you have to admit that we are the 1%. The 1% of humans that actually care about sound quality. The other 99% of the human race doesn't. So let's just get that straight. So then you have to think about, what is it that they're listening to? Well, that's easy. They're listening to free earbuds. That's probably the number one way. They're listening in their car. But at home, they might be listening to Bose or Sonos speakers. Okay, they're not bad, but they're not great. Beats headphones are hugely popular still. That's how they listen. That's what they're listening on. And they're listening, in the car, when they're exercising, cooking, cleaning, at the beach, whatever. They have music on basically as background most of the time. Audiophiles are much more likely to actually focus and actually listen to music. So that puts it, we're in a different strata when it comes to people who listen to music, the 1%. We are the 1%. And then you have to say, well, the recording engineers, the mix engineers, the mastering engineer, who are they making recordings for? Are they making recordings for us? No, they're clearly not. Their recordings, well, okay, I could say that their recordings sound like the good, the bad, and the truly ugly. That's the reality, right? Because the recordings tend to be compressed. Unless, it is genre specific. Classical music, jazz, acoustic music in general has less of the nasties than rock, or certainly pop. EDM, world music, whatever. Once you get away from acoustic music, it's harder to find really good sounding recordings. It's not saying they're not out there. They do squeeze out a couple of great ones every now and then, but they tend not to be. That new Robert Plant, Alison Krauss record, I actually bought the LP and hoping that it would sound better than what I was getting from streaming. Not really. It's not a great sounding recording, and actually it is pretty acoustic for the most part. But even so, it's not good. T-Bone Burnett, I don't know, he's not great. But I'm getting off the track. What is it? What is it that audiophiles want? Well, I'll say one thing. Here's something I know you do want. The Audiophiliac viewer system of the day, which will be shown at the conclusion of this show. But back to, what is it? What is it that we want? Well, one way to know what we want is to look at the brands we buy. What are the most popular audiophile brands? Well, Bowers & Wilkins and Klipsch would be right at the top. Definitely. Zoo is really popular. Shit audio, getting off of speakers. Shit audio, man, when I do these viewer systems, shit is so present in so many systems. They are vastly popular. NAD is really popular and has been for a really long time. And of course, Macintosh. Macintosh has been there forever, since the 40s, and actually so has Klipsch. And the thing is that's interesting about these companies is that they have significant brand loyalty, meaning the people who buy a Klipsch are likely to buy another Klipsch, and the people that buy B&W buy more B&Ws, and certainly that's true of Macintosh. I don't see that with other brands, let's say like Wilson Audio or Magico. I think people that buy Wilson just buy it and that's it, they're good, which is not a bad thing, but they don't keep coming back for more and more. I don't sense that they do, let's put it that way. They might, but I'm unaware of that. Our taste may be all over the map, but what about the pros, the mix engineers, the mastering engineers, recording engineers? What kind of monitors do they use? Well, I just reviewed the Genelec G3. Genelec is a big name in pro sound, and I love that little speaker. But Genelec and PMC and ATC and Atom Audio and JBL, you know what? All of those speakers sound different from each other. I don't see a real consensus that one is the one, right? So even among pros that are looking for accuracy and neutrality to know what it is that they're working on, right, their tastes are all over the map in terms of these types of monitors. We're 40 plus years into the digital age, and yes, there's still a lot of audiophiles and even recording engineers that really love analog sound. Well, probably the vast majority are into digital audiophiles and the pro side, right? Digital is entrenched, but analog somehow survives because it has, in spite of it being a real pain in the ass, there's something about analog sound that keeps us coming back for more. And then there's the whole tube and solid state divide, right? Tubes are kind of like analog, more of a pain in the ass, but even after so many decades of solid state dominance, tubes survive and continue to, well, prosper, right? There's something about that sound that we love that keeps us coming back for more. No consensus. So where does this leave audiophiles in terms of what it is that they, or more precisely, you want? And the only way to know what you want is to experience as much of this as possible. These different kinds of speakers, these different, tube, solid state, analog, digital, and with the music of your choice, and figure it out on your own. That's it. That's it. It's the journey to get there. And the only way to get there is to listen. Listen a lot to as much variety of gear and types of recordings as possible. That's it. Now, my job here isn't to tell you what is the best. My job is to describe the product and how it sounds, what it feels like to use, and what I think of it overall. But in terms of a pecking order of this is better than that, that is so subjective, right? You really get back to, you have to have ears on experience with these things to know, again, what's the right one, the best one, so to speak, for you. I wish I could be more definitive as to what good sound is and just say, you will love this, everyone should just rush out and buy it and be happy for the rest of your life. I wish I could be that definitive, but I can't. But you know what I can be definitive about? The Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. This one comes from Arvid. He's in the Netherlands and he is 45 years old. His speakers are Martin Logan 35XTIs and they are resting upon Isoacoustics Aperta 100 stands. The cables, speaker cables, are direct flow. I've never heard of that one. But the interconnect cables are by AudioQuest. They are Mackenzie, and they are XLR and RCA cables. The turntable is a Project Audio RPM Carbon with an Audiophile Quintet Blue moving coil cartridge, and that is hooked up to an Audiophile ST7C transformer. The phono preamp itself is a Project 2-box DS2, and the power supply for that is called PowerBox DS2. Then there's more Project, and that is a headphone amplifier, the Headbox DS2B, and the headphones themselves are Beyerdynamic Amaron. The streamer in this system is an NAD 658, and the power amp itself is an NAD C298. Thanks, Arvid. That is a killer picture. We are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg. I continue to be the Audiophiliac. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please give me a like, and please subscribe to the Audiophiliac. And after that, well, as I'd like to point out from time to time, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Audiophiliac, and there is a link to that in the description. And that's all I got. My work here is at last complete. Thank you again for watching, and I really, really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.